So I just wanted to talk about must-have accessories for a Honda snowblower, or basically any kind of snowblower if you're watching this. The first thing, I'm going to do it priority-wise. First thing would be the manual. I got the manual here. I actually printed it off on the Honda website. Or there's a parts manual too. You can't really see it, but I printed that off too. You can find that online if you Google. This one actually came with a manual, the Honda 928, so that's pretty cool. Okay, after the manual, you can even get a shop manual too. It'll tell you like what to replace, how exactly to replace it. But I like the YouTube stuff, that kind of stuff. But the next thing that's a must-have, I would say, is shear pins and shear bolts. So the Hondas are kind of different than other snowblowers. This is my 928. This is my 1332. They're basically the same principle here. It's weird because you can see a pin right here. The pin goes all the way through, and then you got a cotter pin. Hold on, let's see if I can find down here. Yeah, you got a cotter pin like this one. See how the cotter pin? There's a washer and then a cotter pin. So that goes perpendicular to the shaft. Then you got another shear pin that goes this way. So there's a shear pin. It's kind of hard to tell. Let's do this one. Yeah, you can see it here. The shear pin there. So this goes from there to there. This actually, you only need one wrench because this holds it in place while you tighten this side. So Honda wants you to put the bolt through and it'll actually tighten. You don't want it too tight though. But the thing that I see wrong a lot of the times is, especially with used ones, people just go to Home Depot and buy them like just regular, bolts. And eventually it'll mess up your auger system here. I've seen cracks all the way through because it defeats the purpose. Once you hit something really, really hard, like a rock or a stump or something, this is not going to stop, and it's going to damage this. It's just going to impact that. So you want that to shear off before that happens. It defeats the purpose if you go to Home Depot and get just a regular bolt, because that's not the right strength to break at that point. But you can actually find the parts online. Here's a part for the shear pin. They look like this. They're small. It's 92101-060160A. And they have a little imprint at the bottom. I have a bunch of them here. The guy actually that bought it used, or I bought it used off of him. See, it has an S. He had wrong shear pins, and he gave me like a whole box of them, but they were wrong. Here's the nuts. They come separately. These are actually 6mm. Yep, 6mm. So that's what the bolts attached to the nuts. So that's just that. I like to have spares of those. These actually work too with those, so that's cool in conjunction. Yeah, so I like to have an extra one of these too. These are the long bolt, made in Japan. This is 95701-080458. And that's actually this bolt right here. You can see it behind right there. If that snaps, it's not gonna drive this, and that's not gonna throw snow or work. So I like to have an extra one of those. You can see it right here where I'm pointing. It has a nut on the bottom that you can just nut right through. But yeah, so those are good to have. I actually have extra spare pin cotton pins, yeah, where this actually goes to here, and then the cotton pin, you can see it here better. See how the cotter pin right there? You just kind of fold it back. But that's item 924201-30450, and that's good to have on hand too. I got 2 of those just in case. So I'm ready for the apocalypse here. This one is, I think this one was my old 1132, but this is for it was for the back of the shaft. Same thing I was talking about over there. But these are the shear pins too. This is extra shear bolt for the 1332. This is the item for this one, the old one, HS. These are the washers for oil changes. I actually keep extra of those when you do an oil change. For an oil change, I use this. It's Honda's OEM oil, 5W30 SAE. I know some people do synthetic. I actually buy 2 of these because it takes 1 and maybe a quarter to fill the whole thing. So it takes more than 1. So if you're buying, just get more than just 1. You need ratchets too. That's a good thing to have. Number 12 and 10. It's all metric. I keep extra spark plugs too, just in case. These usually last long though. They call for NGK in the manual. BPR 5ES. They're only like $5. Good to have for spare. And a spark plug gauge. You want it like 0.03. That's what the manual says. But extra. Oh, Startron. I use Startron. I run this all the time. Every time I fill up, I have a plastic jug. I don't like metal because of rust. But every time I fill that full, 2.5 gallons, I throw Startron in it. I go like 1 down. This actually tells you 1 ounce treats 6 gallons. So I do about 1. You can't overdose on this too. So I do that every time I fill so it's fresh. With, I think it was like 91 octane I used. Still has ethanol, but at the end of the year I do a cap full just to make sure to stabilize. You want low grease temperature for grease. I got a grease gun, and the manual actually talks about greasing. You can see the gears inside here. Just do a nice thin layer. Then you got this too, where it contacts the hinge. You want to grease that. I got the red and tacky. It's good for low temp. We actually don't have Zerk fittings on Hondas, which is weird. Other, like the Aarons, they have Zerk fittings. There's no need, I guess. So there's no Zerk fittings here. No Zerk fittings here. I didn't see any Zerk fittings on my tires either. You want to grease some of the hinges too, like here. It'll say in the manual where to grease. It's a good idea to do that, just so everything works and functions well. So good to have. I like to have spare parts just in case things break, like I said. All right, these are more optional parts to have on hand. The belt and drive. You can get belts and auger drive. You know, the auger belts. I don't actually have those, but it's good to have if you kind of have to split the machine, which kind of sucks. But if you're handy and stuff, it's good to have. Extra skid shoes and scraper bar. That's down here. Say if it wears down. I don't do commercial work, but maybe you guys do. And after a while, it's just going to wear down. And eventually, you're going to wear all these, you know, the skids. You got the side skids and the back skids. It's going to wear down and start eating into this. You don't want that. That's like $1,500 bucket there. So you don't want it eating. It'll eat through the bottom too of the scraper. So, or the bucket rather. So you don't want that expensive bucket. So I see a lot too with these scrapers. The manual calls for about, I think it was 5/16 from bottom scraper to ground. You don't want to chewing up that because it's going to be round and it's not going to eat through ice as much. I see that on, you know, Craigslist a lot with used snowblowers. It's just going to chew right through, and you want to properly adjust it. But yeah, these can look intimidating at first, all the shear pins and shear bolts, but it's really not that bad. You got a shear pin in the back there, then a shear pin here, and then you got, it's weird how it goes straight down and then crosses, but that's how it is with Hondas. So, another thing to have if you have a tire like this, my 928, is a good thing to have is a tire inflator and a tire gauge. You want those tires to be set properly and at the same PSI, just so it doesn't, because if you have 1 PSI, even 1 PSI or 2 down, it could start eating at, you know, an angle. So you don't want that, especially if you have gravel or whatnot. A battery tender is great to have, especially if you have newer models like the HSS. The extra S stands for, what is it, steering. The regular S, I guess, stands for hydrostatic. So hydrostatic steering is the double S, which was in 2015 when they changed over. But the battery tender is great to have. The manual calls for every 6 months or so to charge it. So in the spring, I'm just going to bring it in, charge it up. And let's see what else. Oh, I have a tarp for my Hondas. They're like, I think 60 or 70 bucks, but they protect everything. They even cover the tracks if you want. But if you don't want it like scraping against things and collecting dust over, you know, the off season. So I like to have that. And it just covers it nicely. It actually covers the whole tracks. It'll cover the wheels, cover the bottom. You don't even see any of the auger or anything. Hopefully it'll keep mice out too. That's what I'm worried about with the electronics on this newer one. So hopefully that works. Yeah, so the last thing I can think of is touch-up paint. Honda recommend you know, wash it like I've been doing. And then you can get this stuff. It's Honda Power Equipment, bright red, 08707 R8, bright red. Just make sure it matches your snowblower. I've done the Jolly Red too, and some match better than others. I think this one was better in Jolly Red, and this one's bright red, like the one I showed you. So just spray it on, you know, like a cardboard or something, just to see if it matches right. But yeah, that's all I can really think of for, you know, the accessories to have with these machines. Hopefully it'll last you for years. I've seen these things last like 22, 30 years. I had an 1132, no problems. I wish I never sold it. One of my favorites. It was just like this. It was a 1999. The thing ran mint. It was just amazing. But I love these machines, and hopefully I get years out of it. Hopefully they didn't make it cheaper either with the USA models. After 2015 in North Carolina, they switched over. So hopefully they made them just as commercial as the old ones. The Honda dealers say they do, but they're kind of salespeople, so we shall see. But thank you for watching. Hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.